good afternoon, YouTube, depending where you're at. This is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's can't believe it. So it's almost the middle of the week. It's to Tuesday. I don't know something about Tuesday. It's just Monday's not as bad because once you get through Monday, everything's over. But we hit Tuesday, it seems like what's so special Tuesday? One of my old jobs, I used to work on Tuesday nights, and we call it $2 Tuesday. That's why I used to work at the club. But it's just one of those things. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed your week, and I think I enjoyed mine because I was kind of busy this week. I just did a nice little get together on my Muscle Talk Mondays. So I had some lovely ladies, and my man Big Keith on here, and right here I have a lovely lady right here for me. She is an amateur. She just made her debut this year. She is from Denver. One of the ladies I have a great lady I'm really cool with, who I've done interviews with, Kim Cousins, the lovely Mrs. Winnie Sanchez is from Colorado, big fan of hers, and it's great to talk to another lady from that neck of the woods. Bodybuilding is expanding. You go into different places in the world and in the country. So we have here the lovely Mrs. Chelsea Secord, if I get her name right. Wrong, let me know. And it's just said again, she just did her first bodybuilding show, Women's in Figure. Why call it Women's Figure? It's called Figure because in fact there's no men's figure. Well,
I did both. So I did figure and I did women's physique. So
oh,
I did a crossover and I got first place in 3 figure categories and then I won the overall in women's physique.
so you are nationally qualified.
Yes, and I'm going in November 18th to USA's.
Oh, that's pretty good. The USA's, USA's, yeah.
Yep.
There's there's a lot of shows that are national qualified. So and just we have just got off the North Americans, which was last week, and now there's nationals that's in Texas, and also there's the Olympia, and also some other qualifiers around here. So anyway, we're going to talk to Miss C. Court and share her story, how she and ask this question I often ask these ladies. How should a lady like you get into a sport, as we call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
So the whole backstory, and like on the last one, I'll sum it up into a very, very long story short. Um, I have struggled with my weight, I guess, and idea around weight as far back as I can remember. I remember being 8 years old, honestly, and asking my dad for Slim Fast and to like help me do sit-ups. I was a pretty obese little kid, and that started my first love of like instant gratification and weight loss and quick fixes. And that progressed into a couple years later where I got into my addiction and I started using amphetamines to lose weight. I was 11 years old when I first used meth to lose weight, and it wasn't ever presented to me. I went looking for it to lose weight because I'd heard one of my favorite actresses on this documentary talking about how she used it and she lost all this weight, and I didn't wait to watch the rest of the story about how it ruined her life. I just went to the phone and called this guy I'd smoked pot with and asked if he could get it. And from there, I started this terrible addiction of more so than anything, the instant gratification and the weight loss. And I got away with it for a lot of years because nobody expects a young girl to be using, amphetamines at that age. And fast forward a couple years, 17 is when I quit using amphetamines the first time because I saw all of my friends going to prison or jail or dying, and I knew I was destined to, something bad to happen if I didn't stop. So I quit on my own, but I never dealt with the underlying issues of self, deserving of self-love and this body dysmorphia and eating disorders and all this stuff that I just stuffed away and pretended like it never happened and went on to have a normal life. And it was never into fitness, was never into sports, and of course my weight always was up and down, and still was struggling with eating disorders. And I went on to have a decent normal life. I put myself in college. I was a surgical nurse for a couple years. I had a baby, my wonderful daughter who's 9 now. I got married, and I had a normal-ish life. But then this perfect storm arose, and with my pregnancy, I put on 100 some odd pounds. So at the end of my pregnancy, I was 253 pounds. I'm 5'2", so I showed every bit of it. And I'd become a functional alcoholic at this time, smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. And and then at the same time, I lost my job at the hospital my first day back from maternity leave. And that coupled with a friend of mine that I didn't know had, started using amphetamines again, it was this perfect storm. And the day I got fired, I relapsed on my drug of choice of amphetamines, and it was off to the races. And that little thing got woken up again of quick fixes and losing weight. And this time it really spiraled out of control fast. And I went deep into my addiction for 3 years or so, and I went from working in a hospital, having a husband and a normalish life, to pretty much almost being homeless, picked up, a whole bunch of charges, and I was in jail. And but this is where the beauty happens. So I'm in jail and I'm looking at a lot of time. And I was like, well, Chelsea, you have all this time. Let's try something you've never tried before. Let's try and work out and eat healthy. And I started trying to figure out how to work out when I was in there. And a couple of the cool guards would slip me in men's health magazines. And they're like, here, try and do these exercises. They saw me trying to figure it out, and I had no idea what I was doing. So they were like, do this. And so I started doing it, and I fell in love with it. And then I started training the girls inside, and they started getting results, and I started getting results. And this went on for about a year while I was fighting my case. And by the grace of God, I didn't end up going to prison. I went to a treatment center that they've unfortunately shut down since then, called the Peer 1 program. And it was a behavior modification program that breaks you down to build you up. But from there, I continued on my fitness journey, and I knew I'd put the pieces together that my relapse pattern was weight loss, not feeling worthy, not having self-confidence, and I needed to keep this exercise thing going. And so I learned a lot about myself in this program. And my first job out, I made firm that I needed something kind of healthy. And all the girls were going to work at restaurants and bars and these places that just weren't going to serve me. And I held out, and I found this job as a janitor in the gym at Crunch Fitness, and I took that job, and I loved that job. It was right what I needed at the right time. And the girls just make fun of me because they're like, you want to clean shit on toilets for $11 an hour? And I was like, y'all don't know, I'm making money. I would like sweep and mop next to the trainers, and I'd listen to what they were doing. And I'm like, okay, they're doing that. And then I'd go on my lunch and I'd do it. And I did that over and over and over again until I started figuring it out. And then I went from the janitor to the general manager within a year of that club, and got my PT certificate, started training, and I fell in love with training people now and helping people. And by the grace of God, is how it works out. No accident. I kept having clients that were in recovery. They were addicts in recovery, or they needed recovery and they were struggling with addiction. So they ended up being like these counseling sessions. And I was just feeling unfulfilled at this job. I'd grown to the capacity that I could grow in this job, and something was calling me. And so my prayers got answered. And fast forward, and throughout all this time too, I have to throw out there, I'm a big supporter of 12-step programs. I've been going to Narcotics Anonymous for years now. It's part of my family. My husband and I ride with a sober motorcycle club called Sober Souls. And then I'd found my boss, my now boss, at a meeting, and he was opening up this gym that was a nonprofit for free for addicts in recovery. And I remember I was talking to him. I was like, "Do you have staff for this place yet?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Dude, I'll quit my job right now. I'll come run this place." And I did. And so I've been running this gym now, and we're expanding into other stuff now too. Hazelbrook Sober Living and Hazelbrook Community Center, and I get to help people that have had the same issues as I have with self-worth, eating disorders, not having money for trainers, and that relapse pattern of using quick fixes to get a certain way. So anyways, and throughout all this, I was doing Olympic lifting and CrossFit and powerlifting, and I loved it all, and it served its purpose, but I wanted more. I'm an addict. Like, I wanted more. And so I'd never dabbled in bodybuilding, and I just had this feeling that it was going to be this thing that I needed to dive into, and I wanted to be able to train people maybe if, too, so I needed to do it. And I started working with my now coach, Ivana Ivusik and Brett Wilkin. and fell in love. As soon as I started doing it, man, it was everything I've been searching for: the routine, the structure, the dedication, everything that my OCD addiction addict brain, I can funnel it into something and it serves me well. And I always tell people this, like, if I would have found bodybuilding before I found recovery and not using in 12 steps, bodybuilding probably would have ruined me. But because I found recovery and then I found bodybuilding, it was the perfect combo for me. So, yeah, we worked together for about a year or so before I was ready for a show. I didn't even know if I wanted to compete. I just wanted to take my body to another level. And then as it was starting to change and work, I was like, God, maybe I could compete. And it was just a bucket list. So then we started getting ready for this show, and about 10, 8 weeks in, I remember my coach telling me, she's like, I think you're going to win. Like, we need to push. You're going to win. And it hit me like, oh my God, this might be something. So we get in, and sure as shit, dude, I go in and I win three first place in figure, take the overall in women's physique, nailed the conditioning. Like, it was crazy, the changes that happened in my body. I'm addicted to this process. I'm addicted to this process. So, anyways, that's kind of how I got into it, and now, it's my pastime. It's my love. I can filter something that was very, very unhealthy for me with my OCD and addictive nature, and it's in something that is serving me so well now. And um, I'm 9 weeks out now from the USA's, and getting ready to go do it again. I'm so excited. So I hope that was kind of a some short.
Well, it's kind of longer than most times I get to. Okay, folks, we just finished up the whole interview, so we have to.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Hey, I rarely ever get somebody to sit here and just really tell them their story that long. Usually we have a stop, then I talk and stop. It's good to see. It's refreshing. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's good to have good banter every now and then, but also it's good to listen to somebody's story. And yeah, addiction is tough part, especially in this sport. It can be addictive sport also. The
Mm.
uses of PEDs. Also a lot of body issues. Dysmorphia is in some parts because somebody said I don't feel I'm big enough, or I don't feel like I'm. It's so much into sport
Yeah.
where which people don't really understand. And I know I did interviews with ladies who, like yourself, who had dealt with battling with addiction, especially with drugs, alcohol, almost anything. I can tell about the food addiction part because you can see with me, I'm kind of a big dude. I used to be a lot bigger, but I've been working on some things and I'm doing a little better
Good
than I
for
was
you.
before. But that's
Good for
tough.
you.
And the thing about the prison guards, they're really cool. I don't know. It sounds like something like the booty warrior thing, like they like you and they want you. They want the easy
Maybe.
way or the hard way. The choice is yours. The
Maybe.
I don't know. So anyway, that's good that you found that path and the struggles that you're dealing with, and also you had your child and you were what was with her? Was she what was she still with family and friends while you were going through all this?
Yeah, my ex-husband did a really good job of taking over when that happened, and my mom too. So she was taken care of, and by the grace of God, she was really young that it didn't affect her, I think, too much. I think when I was in treatment, she was 3, 3.5, and that's when we started reconnecting again. And she's something to look out for too, man. She's been working out with me since COVID. I remember, like, when I was working out, I was grateful I was working at the gym at the time, and I got to borrow a whole bunch of stuff. And I'd be working out, and my daughter would come out, and she's like, "Mommy, I want to play." And I'd be like, "Mom's working out. You either join me in a workout, or you have to wait for me to be done." And sure as shit, she started working out with me. So she's been working out with me for a couple years now. She's a beast. She's 9, and I do on the weekends for her and her friends and the neighborhood kids. I do like a little youth powerlifting, weightlifting class with her and her friends to teach them. One of her friends is she reminds me of me. She's 8, and she's heavier set. She's obese, and I see her struggling, and so she's just joined us, and I'm just so grateful that if I can prevent that, you know what I mean, for any little kid, then give them the tools that I didn't have growing up. Oh, it's so wonderful. It's so cool to see all these little kids weightlifting and worried about what they're eating, and in a healthy way. You know what I mean? Like choosing the apples instead of the French fries. It's cool to have that influence.
Yeah, I can send that. Like I said, I hate to say this. Like this afternoon, I took a friend. He had to take care of some business, and And after we're done, I stopped by Burger King and got French fries. But hey, I was good. I cooked some ground turkey with some veg, and that was it. And I had that, even though it had a nice sweet tea, but it should have been sweet tea. But a little water after that. But yeah, it's just those choices, especially for
Dude, the
children.
diet's hard.
Yeah,
The diet's the hardest part. Like, it is a struggle, and it takes time to change those behaviors. Like, food is my first love, and I still struggle with binge eating. I haven't, by the grace of God, knock on glass, I haven't had a binge episode in probably about 6 months. And I'm very grateful for it, but I know it's still there. It's food is hard because you can't. I can quit using dope. Like, I know I have to quit using dope.
you can quit drinking.
Alcohol doesn't. Yeah, alcohol doesn't serve me. I don't really have any desire to drink alcohol, but we need to eat. We can't stop eating. So having to change those behaviors around stuff is very hard for everybody. You know.
Yeah, because especially I come up with like I came in a big family. It was me. I have three sisters, my two brothers. I grew up with my two nephews. My mom raised us. She was a single mom, and we food was a thing. Was especially my mom cooked, and that's why I missed. My mom passed away 3 years during the when the virus hit because she got it. She was sick. I was taking care of her for at least about 5 or 6 years. I ate sometimes dealing with the stress of dealing with
Yep.
her stuff. Because if you ever had anybody who's like you being a nurse, and like I said, this I want to say to you, thank you for your service, because we appreciate that. You nurses, I respect y'all. You go through a lot, and I can understand somebody, especially taking care of somebody like my mother, where she was going, she couldn't walk anymore. She had issues with seizures, but dealing with her stuff, food was a comfort for me because you eat it, it makes you feel good, but it's a relationship that's always gonna be like, it's like almost any like kind of relationship. You just gotta take the good, the bad with it. And especially as bodybuilder, food is both a necessary tool and also it can be a weapon against you. Like one thing people gotta understand, and I talk this quite often on my channel, that you know, one people always point about bodybuilding is about steroids, but steroids is only that little factor of it. You have to be consistent with it. You have to
Yeah.
follow a diet. You have to follow this
Yeah.
and that. There's times you don't want to do cardio when you get up in the morning. There's times you don't want to do this.
Mhm.
It's not just like taking a magical pill and going to weight room. You have to follow the diet
Oh
part is the
no.
hard part.
Yeah. PEDs won't do anything for you if you're not following the first couple of components. Like, if you don't have your fitness and your lifting routine in check, and you don't have your nutrition in check, and your water and your sleep in check, PEDs aren't going to do anything for you except run down your system. Like, I always use the car analogy. Like, our bodies are cars, and you can treat your body like a Ferrari, or you can treat it like a broken down Prius. And how you service the lines and what you put in the tank and the engine and the fluid lines, like, it all matters. You know what I mean? So if you're not, taking care of the first components, it doesn't matter if you have windshield wiper fluid in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it's just the PDs are just icing on the cake for that 1% extra better. If you're not doing the first things, it doesn't matter. You're doing more detriment than anything.
Yeah, you talk about the car analogy. Like, I'm like a Ford LT. I got two bad tires and a leaky pump. So I got heart issues right here because I have a pacemaker. I can tell you that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the aspects of it that you
Yeah.
have to like follow a diet, follow a plan, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I know I talk to somebody like sometimes they have to. Okay, George, I got to go to bed like 10 o'clock. I said 10 o'clock. I need you. I got to go to bed because I got to get up in the morning. I do my cardio at
Oh, yeah.
4. I got to get ready before I go to work. Especially you have a family. That's one thing people don't, that family. It's the important part of that. Now, what's your husband's name?
Chris.
Chris, yeah, I said, and Mr. Chris, if you're there, we appreciate you. Let us talk to your wife because I don't want no problem, sir. You with a back crew, it's a sober back crew, but still a back crew. I don't know. And so, it's good that that he stands by you. He's a great dad to you or to your daughter. He's a good husband
Yeah.
to you, and it's good that you had support of your family, even your ex-husband who stood by and took.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing with that situation, that's a dad. That he's supposed to do that. That's not he.
Yeah.
We don't need. I never had children. I helped in the raising my nieces and nephews, and one of my nephews I took care of him until he was like about 5 years old. Me and my mother, and it's our job as men to watch out for our women and children. Even though I never had a wife, my mom was my woman, and when she left me, I became kind of like a bachelor. I became a widower. My woman's gone, but you know, I really we it's the tough part about this sport. You know, like one thing is like most definitely your parents are still around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when you decided to become a bodybuilder, I know your father said like, I don't know. Or she just went out for a second, folks.
Oh,
There she goes. Say,
sorry.
I about to say like, I don't know if I want my girl to be my boy. I'm afraid, sweetheart, you might get all buffed up, and when you might get a little
Oh
mannish,
yeah.
like you might just break my arm one
Oh yeah.
time arm wrestling the table. So what was that talk that you had with your parents when you decided to, what, this is what I'm going to do?
So my dad, so my parents aren't together, but my dad specifically, love him dearly. If you watch this, I'm sorry. But my dad had some issues, and my dad was, a big piece, I think, in my history of like having the thoughts around myself that I did growing up, because my dad had a very vocal opinion about everything and about everybody and about everybody's appearance, and you know w- he's very supportive now. I think he gets it. But I remember even as a kid, like I knew I loved the look of like muscular women. I remember China and Sable, the wrestlers from back in the day. I loved them. Loved them. And I wanted to watch them, and my dad was like, nope, we're not watching them. And he would talk crap about overweight people. He would talk crap about muscular people. Like it was just anything that was different than him. Like he would talk about it. And then when I first got into bodybuilding, he made some comments about, oh, you want to be that big, or that's too much, and you know what? By the grace of God, going through my treatment center that I went through, that program was the hardest thing I've ever done, but the most life-changing thing. I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think about me today. I don't care. I wish them well. I can truly sit here and say, I love myself from the inside out. And there's a famous saying by Dita Von Tess, you could be the ripest, juiciest peach in the whole wide world, and there's still going to be somebody that doesn't like peaches.
Hmm.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
okay with
think
that.
what didn't she used to date the lead singer Marilyn Manson?
Maybe.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
Vita Von Tess. I think so. That's the name sounds
Dita
familiar.
Dita Von Tess was actually an old pinup model from like the
Oh,
40s or 50s, but then there's a girl who plays off of her that,
oh yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Okay, so that's
y-
you talk about the first one, and
yeah,
yeah, because I recognize the name, and
yeah.
and because but yeah, it's good that he decided to change his mind about this, support his, because like they most definitely, I can tell you, but my father, my parents were together for at least 50 years, even though we were down here in North Carolina, he was up in New Jersey, and when my mother told her like this, and this is one of my other guys, he's come out, he says, my father was drunk and the fiend. My mother never liked it, not one bit. But yeah, it is tough that it's good that you find that support within your family, especially with your,
And I'll say my dad is supportive now. He came to my show, he rooted me on, he was crying after, and he gave me a big hug, and he's been telling me ever since how proud he is of me. Like, I think he sees now that I take this serious, and like it's a hobby, but it's not just a hobby. Like, it's more than that. And he's told me more in the past several months how proud he is of me than I can remember. So he's changed gears.
that's good that he changes gears, and your mother supports you, your dad supports you. Any other family members? It's just you and your parents. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have a half sister. We are hit and miss for button heads sometimes, but overall we're pretty good.
Well, I got an older half brother. He's my father's first child, and we were, I got a younger half sister. I don't know. I had never seen her since, because like I say, she lived in Jersey with her mother, and but I understand that part right there. But yeah, it's good that you still have those bonds with your family, your parents. So anyway, who's your coach and who's your trainer again? So how you got in this?
So Ivana Ivusik, she was a I think 5-time Olympian, and then her husband is very well known in the bodybuilding world right now, Brett Wilkin. So it's Team Conquer Culture is the team that they serve. So all of their teammates or all of their clients were all in a team. But so you're getting both of the aspects of them, and they've been amazing. she's taught me so much, and she's very health focused. Like that was one of the things that I was really drawn into her because, as evidenced by, I will put anything in my body, you know what I mean? And I need somebody to be able to rope me in and be like, this is not what we do, this is what we do, this is what is healthy, this is not what is healthy. And she still, reels me back in. So I'm very grateful for her. She's a great coach.
That's good that she supports you and her husband doing good work. Well, folks, we'll jump into Chelsea's social media in a bit. We will
Mm.
look at some pictures and stuff like that. But and this is a thing out there, you guys, and I'm going to tell y'all straight out. She has a man, she has kids. No D pics. Stop it. Don't do that. I know when you see his face buffed out, and then the little posing suit to get that little tickly pickle, but don't do it. Come on, women don't like that shit. So we're gonna jump in here into her IG here for a bit and look at some pictures here. Let me pull up here, and this is here. This is your meal. Look like that
Yeah.
cream corn, cream
So I
corn.
actually just got a new sponsorship with Evolve Eats yesterday and Evolve Health and Wellness. Their food is amazing. They have meals right now: chicken, shrimp, steak. What else do they got going on right now? Oh, salmon with like a curry. The food is beyond any food that I've ever had before. Super grateful. I just signed on with them a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's good that you got a sponsor because one thing about that's
Yeah,
about bodybuilding, it's the cost of this sport, you
yeah,
know.
it's crazy.
And this is here. That's your husband right there in the middle. Who's these two people right here on the other side?
Those are my boss, Gino and Jess Shveda. They're the owners of Hazelbrook Sober Livings and Hazelbrook Community Center. So Gino is also in recovery. He has 5 years clean. He's a professional MMA fighter. So we
Oh,
all, and then Jess just competed in a bodybuilding show. She also is like a marathon runner and a Spartan racer. So it's in the family of all of us, man. We're all a bunch of athletes.
well, Jessica Gino, I do content on MMA too. I'm mostly focused more on the women because the guys get some more attention. A big fight coming
Yeah.
up this weekend. One of my favorite fighters, Valentina Bullets is going to try to regain her title.
Yeah.
And I wish her best of luck. And this is a comparison picture.
Yeah,
This is
transformation. So that was when I was 253 pounds to winning the overall at the show last May.
and that's the Branch Warren show that you won.
Yep,
And I think I heard that name a few times.
yep,
Yeah. And this is one point here. This is you and your little girl. And
yep.
it's cute. It's just the transformation. That's the tougher part about change your body into and here's and this is a picture where I tell guys, hey, no stuff here, guys. I know you see her in this. Like I said, what at the show. I know the judges always gave feedback. What did you tell you? Because even though you won, there's always
Yeah.
that feedback. What the feedback they gave you?
They told me that I could go very far in women's physique, and I just needed to keep bringing up my lats and my glutes, which is, I mean, that's for everybody. Everybody always needs bigger lats and bigger glutes.
Yeah. And
Yep.
this is one of your other meals here. And
Yeah, that was my
uh
old sponsorship with My Fit Foods. Yeah.
huh. I don't know. I don't like eggs too much. Ugh, you know.
Oh, I
Eh,
love eggs.
yeah,
I eat
yeah,
every
yeah. You
meal
can
if I
keep
could.
them. And this is here your little girl here, and that's
My boss,
your,
Jess,
your
that was
boss.
the show. Yep, she just
Yeah,
competed in a show.
yeah. And she's eating that like a eclair.
It was a voodoo donut, a maple bacon. I've actually froze one because I couldn't eat it because I have a show coming up. But I froze one for the day after my show. I want it so bad. There's my
Mm-hmm.
coach, Ivana. That's Ivana.
Uh,
I have you sick. Yep.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I don't
She's something
do
serious.
I don't do a lot of content on bikini competitors, but I'm
She's
impressed.
figure. She's
Figure?
figure. Oh yeah, she's a figure pro.
I thought what? It's just the lines between the divisions are starting to blur.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't tell the difference. You know, if you look at over like you double dip, like you both did both
Yep.
physique and figure,
Yep.
and and you got similar divisions. It used to be back in the day when bodybuilding started. Well, I was following bodybuilding since I can remember, and it was just men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding. In the
Yeah.
last few years, has exploded. There's more divisions for women than it is for the men.
Yeah. It's changed
And
so
yeah,
much.
and this is your mom right here.
That's my mother.
Yeah, yeah. I can see you. You look like her.
Yep. That's my mama.
It's a horsey right in the background, and
Yep.
you're riding the boat.
Down
Yeah.
in Florida, couple weeks post show.
Yeah.
Still had ab lines a little bit, hanging on for dear life.
Dad, get enjoy your vacation, spend some time with family and friends.
Yep.
And here's a little picture here. I think this is a video you hear working out.
Yep. Oh yeah, I was getting strength back. I think I was pushing 50s, 50s, I think. 45,
Yeah,
50s.
45 yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that feeling when you're hitting those weights and you're pushing
Oh,
it? You just
it's the best feeling in the world in those numbers. And that's what's so cool is focusing on those numbers today instead of like the numbers on the scale or how much I weigh or how, the jean sizes I'm wearing. It's how much freaking weight can I push. Like I love fixating on those numbers today.
yeah, that's the thing. It's just the passion for like we said earlier about Ronnie Coleman said everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one wants to lift that heavy ass weight. And
Yep.
that's the tough part about it.
Yep.
And you go here and you look like another progress picture. You look like you're coming in a little better in this one than the last one.
Yep. I think that was that was 2 weeks post show. So that was right post show. This is all post show. And you look a little better post show because you put on a little bit of size and you get a little fullness back. So those couple weeks post show, man, it was sweet.
Yeah, and you get to eat some food.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and this is at the Branch Warren Classic border here. And this is you competing in figure right here, and you pretty
Yep.
impressive. You know, yeah. What was that like? That first time being on stage.
Oh, it was wonderful. I had such a blast, man. And I think that really helped with me like coming in good was that I wasn't nervous. Like I just went up there and I wanted to have fun and I took lots of pictures. I made sure that I was talking to everybody and like it was a good fun time. It was no stress. Now, of course everybody wants to win, but like I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to remember it. So I took just lots of pictures and was really present in the moment, you know?
hmm It's good that you're enjoying yourself, and that thing is your sport. It's a very tough sport, and sometimes you need a little pleasure out of it, just enjoying the ride. And here's some pictures here, and that's it looks
Yeah.
like a friend of yours. You're holding them up,
That's
or
my mom.
that's your
That's my
mom. Yeah,
mother. That's my
yeah,
mama.
that's your mom. And there you go. You're three generations right there.
Yeah.
It's good that you still have closeness because you know what, I miss my mom. I mean, she, like I said again, she was my woman. And we looked
Yeah.
out for each other, and she looked out for me.
Yeah.
It's good that she's there for you. And
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, that's a tough time, especially the holidays when
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta, and here's some more
There at the
pictures here.
branch.
Branch
Yep,
Warren's
there's the
Branch.
branch himself.
Yeah, what was like I said, it sounded like a picture. You look pretty good here. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, no, yeah, it was
Not bad
impressive.
for a first show, man.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
bad for a first
I
show.
I did an interview with a lady who she just turned pro last year. She only did two shows before she turned pro. And I mean, and that is, yeah, I've interviewed ladies who have competed for years before they finally got their pro card, and it's tough process, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I have no expectations. Like, of course, everybody wants to win. It'd be cool to go in and win at this national stage, but it's about the journey. I know that's so cheesy, but it's about the journey, not the destination. Like, I love this process, the day in, the day out, giving me, like I said before, giving me something to funnel my addictive nature into. And the byproduct's just really cool. But the daily process is what I really enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, I don't see how somebody could do bodybuilding, like because it's hard. It is hard, but it's so cool to watch that. It's like a chemistry project, you know. You do this, you manipulate this, you change this, and this happens. I love that.
Yeah, there goes the belt. Your daughter's holding the belt. You got the
Yep,
title, so you're a
yep,
champ. You
yep.
know,
She was so proud of me. She was my biggest fan, man.
yeah, you feel like John Cena. The champ is here. The champ
Yep.
is here. You can't see me. You can't see
Can't
me.
see this. Can't see this.
Yeah, we got here. This is my man Warrior 2000 coming through. He said, "Yo, what up? Yeah, what up, Warrior?" And he also want to ask you a question. How many tattoos Chelsea got?
I
You
had
notice that
no idea.
you have quite a many.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm like this. Tattoos kind of. I'm not a big. I don't have them. I'm never going. It's one thing. I never let somebody put a needle across my skin and you do that. Nah. I got my. I know my brother has it. A couple of my sisters got them. Nephews and nieces got them. Me, no. I mean, I have needles put in me. I don't want no needle to grab across me.
Yeah.
And there's one lady who I follow. She turned pro last year. Also, she turned pro also at the USA Nationals, was USA Masters, and
Mm.
she, her name is Julie Jenny Aqua. If you've never heard of her,
I think
she's,
that name.
yeah, she started to not to compete as a pro because they're telling her that she might need to change divisions because of her look, and also, tattoos can, as people I met, like Shella Bosworth, who I met last year. She was down here in North Carolina. She was doing a seminar, and
I've
she has a
heard.
lot of tattoos. Great physique. Tattoos
Mm.
can affect, especially
Yes.
now. Judges are giving more leeway to it compared to
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how you feel. Like you feel like when you're on stage, especially with your tattoos, you feel like it's like a hit and miss sometimes. Especially you got to do
So
with judges.
I got all these tattoos before I got into bodybuilding, but I knew the moment that I started bodybuilding, I was done getting tattoos. And I love tattoos. I love them, but you're very right. They do distract from the look. They distract from the muscle depth. So the tan really kind of helps because it helps with the coverage. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done with tattoos until maybe after my bodybuilding career. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm done with them. So I think mine are pretty just the arm is like the big one, so I think it's pretty spaced out, but you never know.
Yeah, I know. I interviewed a lady. Her name, she's a pro, Marika Jones. She said that she loves tattoos. She's even she does a tattoo on the side, and she said that she wishes she can get more, but she knows that if she gets too many, especially particularly in certain parts, especially the back or the pecs, the arms, the legs, it does take away at that. But we like yesterday we had a debate. If you follow my IG, that we talked about the issues with breast implants because I know you have them,
Yep. Yep.
and and this is some women, for them it's more about being more feminine, feel more aesthetically pleasing as a competitor, or some just got them because before they even became bodybuilders, or like I said,
So I got mine honestly because I'd lost so much weight that there was not an exercise that was going to fix what had happened to these sad puppies. So it was a present to myself last year that I saved up, and I got them, and I would never go back. It had nothing to do with bodybuilding. I mean, I'm sure it probably helps maybe, but honestly, it was just the massive amount of weight loss, losing over 100 pounds. There's no muscle in there. You can't fix that. That has to be bought,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, you feel like
Yep.
you're like slapping the face, like feel like slapjacks, Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. But yeah, that is also one thing about this sport, especially for you women.
Mm.
It's expensive being a competitor. I mean, I've talked about this quite often on my channel because as you know, my channel is about recognizing women in bodybuilding. I'm a fan of you ladies. I've been following bodybuilding since I was, in my like about 7, 8 years old. Remember, my brother, he used to play football here in our hometown. He used to get the muscle mags. Like guys like Arnold and Lee Heaney and them and Lou Ferrigno and like that. And then, when I got more into my progressive stage, right about, 10, 11, 12, and I started noticing the women, and it's something different, just something different. I'm from the South, and, women around here are a little bit more fuller, a little thicker,
Mhm.
and then I'm seeing these women with muscles and this and that. It's just, I was drawn to it, and I'll admit it, I'm a muscle person. Well, it's true. That's my honesty. But in doing this content, because when I started doing this content, I did it because I needed to deal with stuff with my mom. I need something as an outlet.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to find somebody to talk to about it, but then you say, what, I got to do this on my own. So I just need something to really to help me with my mind. And then when she was gone, so what, I need to really find something to keep me busy. So I
Hmm.
reached out and do interviews. I watch my man KL. He does interviews, and shout out to him. And I saw your interview with her. I said, what, I might be interested in interviewing her. I usually wait a little longer because I don't want to feel like too much of a poacher, But I really, when I hear somebody's story, and then I looked and stuff, this is similar. I never been never had no addiction to drugs, I don't even drink. I used to sip every
That's
now and then,
good.
but I never had. One thing I used to work. My first real job when I was 16, I used to work at a gas station, and we sell liquor. We sell liquor. We sell beer and stuff like that. And what smell I smell when you bust a 40 ounce of King Cobra? That's the
Mm.
worst smell in the world.
Ugh.
Stinky. And
Oh yeah.
yeah. And then I had a job. I used to work. I used to hold both jobs. At one point, I was working at a gas station and I was working in textiles. I worked with it all day. And sometimes you sit there talking to ladies and tell you stuff. They feel when women feel comfortable with a man, and feel like you're not gonna do any weird shit. If you come from, then I have another job where I said earlier I used to work in adult entertainment. I worked in a strip club, and yeah, I was a customer, but then I became an employee, but still had some fun every now
Okay.
and then. And it's just the fact is what women go through,
Yeah.
and the cost, like I said again, of being a competitor. If there's a way where the sport was more lucrative for you ladies, especially on the amateur end, NPC, you really putting more in, not getting much back out of it. You know,
Yeah, it's a lot. I work like 3, 4 different jobs, and I do pretty well, but it is expensive. But that's where sponsorships have been really freaking cool. They've super supported me, and being really frugal. Like I. I'm a penny pincher. Like growing up in poverty kind of area, like we were really not well off growing up. So I've learned how to manage my money very well, and I separate what need and want is, and you know, I can only assume that it will get easier when it comes to the finances if you continue to do well in this sport. But if it doesn't, and this is where it's at, this is manageable. Like it is manageable for now. So we'll see if things change. Yeah, I'm always uh, I'm always looking for different avenues and whatnot. So yeah, but for today, right now, things are fluid and things are functioning. So we'll
and
see
that's
how it
and that's good that you understand that, and the people need to understand that when you get to sport, you gotta understand it's a hobby sport. It's not something you make a career out of unless you are like top level competitors. Like one of my favorites in the sport is, and I love her. I'm a fan of hers. That's Andrea Shaw. I mean, she's just a beautiful woman. I mean, I
Oh
got to
yeah.
see her last year. I went to my first bodybuilding show. I was in Savannah. She was there guest posting. I got to see her live and in person. I follow. She. I make comments and she responds to them on social media. I've done interviews with people that have known her or met her, and they tell me she's a
Yeah.
genuinely great person.
Yeah.
And it's
She seems
good.
super.
Yeah, she is, and it's good that women like that, make the sport interesting for competitors. Who, when you started in this, who did you really was kind of fond of? Who did you say, wow, that's just,
Gosh.
wow.
So Ivana was probably my first. I didn't know, to tell you the truth, I didn't know much about bodybuilding when I first got into working with Ivana. I just knew this is almost embarrassing to say this, but this is the truth. Um, like I said, I didn't know much about bodybuilding outside of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jay Cutler and like those guys from back, Ronnie Coleman, those guys from back in the day. Yeah,
They
all
could
those
all
guys.
all
But I wanted something more, and I started searching for local bodybuilding people. And Ivana was working out of Armbrust, my favorite little gym out here, Armbrust Pro Gym. And I started looking at her stuff. I started watching her. I started watching, some other people around, and she just really drew me in. And then once I really started, and then I'm not one to just get into something, like I'm into something. So now I'm obsessed. Like I am watching all of the old shows. I'm watching all the current shows. I'm listening to all the podcasts. I'm listening to all the educational videos. Like I'm obsessed. And today, I would say that some of the people that I'm really fond of and I really like to watch, Chelsea Dion is one of my favorites. She is super humble, super cool. I
let me tell you
met her
something.
down in Vegas.
Today's her birthday
Her
today.
birthday, I know.
Yeah.
I sent her a message and told her happy birthday, and
Well, I
she's
made
always
I
been
made a
fun.
video or something on IG. She saw it and she thanked me for it because every so often when especially I like Chelsea Dunn. She has a great look to her. I said this before. Her and Andrea Shaw are
Yep,
probably two best ambassadors for us. I think
yep,
if someone could do like this, press agents, let them hit the like some of these like have my like CBS This Morning or Today's Show or Good Morning America or something like that.
yep,
Those two women we great because she's competing in Spain
yep,
this coming weekend.
yep.
But right here, my man, this man Warrior. He says this. I bet you're waiting on the day and competition show to become IB Pro. That's the dream, right, Chelsea? Yeah, she's already.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
So anyway, you're saying, as I know, I've talked to ladies that they never knew anything about bodybuilding until one of the most popular ones is like when they get approached by somebody in the gym. It says, You ever think about being a bodybuilder? And that's usually the most popular one.
Yeah, I've had people like now, especially people. Are you a competitor? Do you compete? Are you a competitor? So it makes me feel like I'm where I need to be. Like it now. It doesn't. It's not a day that goes by that I'm out and about that one, if not several people. Do you lift? Are you a competitor? Do you compete? And it makes me feel good. Like people be like, "Oh, you're swole. Oh, you're buff," and I'm like, "Oh, it's like you're telling me I'm pretty."
I'm so pretty. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I
She
love
did a
it.
little flex for the smoke, so that's good. Yeah. Also, he says this. He says, maybe one day be on the same stage as Cindy
Oh,
Gillen at the Figure Miss Olympias soon,
man,
perhaps. Yeah. It's no Cindy Gillen is the. This is about
she's
Cindy
the
Gillen. Cindy
boss.
Gillen. She's right now is in history. She's not too far, having maybe beat and tied some records.
Yeah.
She's only a win away from tying
Yep.
both Ronnie Coleman and Linda
Yep.
Murray.
Yep.
And
She's gonna
then,
get it too.
yeah,
She's a beast.
and then she might even surpass,
Yep.
Iris Kyle. See,
Yep.
people can say like, well, it's women's. It's still the Olympia. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what division is. If you can set the record, if you can beat some of the most reigning competitors, especially
Yeah.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
Linda,
Yeah.
and Iris.
Sydney was one of the ones, she still is one of the ones that when I was learning how to pose, because I didn't know how to pose during cardio, because I need something to distract me, I would watch the old Olympias with Sydney, especially, and I'd watch her posing. There's something so drawing about it. It's slow and it's meticulous and it's beautiful and I just would watch her over and over and over and over and over again. And it helps me honestly slow down my tempo is thinking about Sydney and the way that she flows. She's one of the people I watch for posing.
Yeah, and I keep talking about this how it's you both doing both figure and physique. You
Hmm.
see, like it's your opinion. You think that the lines are blurring because if you can cross over from figure to physique,
Yeah.
you think there's it's like the walls because I said it before, British bodybuilding's been around for a good while. It's been around for nearly 50 years. And other divisions spawn off from that vision. More like this is truth of it. British bodybuilding cast almost like bikini or more like
Yeah.
figure, but they kick up the high heels. And then
Yep.
you went from people like the Richard McLeish's, the Corey Eversons, to the Bear Francis, to Linda Murray,
Yep.
to Laura Craval, to Kim Zavetsky's, to Vicky Gates, to Iris Kyle, to Alina Popa, to to Andrea Shaw, to Chelsea Dion. If you look at also people like Italia Cuejo, Shanique Greer, who's coming back. He's going to come back in
Yep.
wellness.
Yep.
And the other divisions how they are just bikini. Even that, it tell like I was like had a conversation with someone saying like even that how it tells the bikini girls don't come because too styrated, but then
They come in striated.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can't help it. That's why eventually they move up to figure.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
some women in figure feel like, what, I don't want to go to physique. So let me go to the stage left. Let me go here to wellness. But then
Right.
with that division, if you don't have like this, my man, his name is Big Keith. He's a IV pro, something like that. If you don't have those, and this is the truth of it, those Afro aesthetics. That's why a lot of
Yep.
the Brazilians win because they have
Yep.
African genes in them. They have the
Yep.
bigger hips and wider, thicker thighs.
Yep.
You know, it's just you don't do as well compared. But that's why I think
Yeah.
it's about trying to find your place.
Yeah.
Where
And what you want to do because ultimately like no 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 hate to the bikinis or to wellness. I love watching the posing. I'm not comfortable doing that kind of posing. Like I like if I could choose, if I could just build a bodybuilder for myself, I want to be women's physique. Like Natalie Coelho, like if I could pick a physique to emulate, I want that kind of look. But it's hard. Like they're big. Those girls are big. I need
yeah.
size. So like for now, I'm in figure and I love figure, but my true love and I'm working towards is women's physique. But I'm older, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, like I say, I think what it is, it's a lot harder because Natalie's not even 30 yet. I don't think she's 30. And but then you look at her, she got a lot. She was figure before. She's gotten a lot bigger,
Yeah.
and she also one of her training me. They're under. She's trained by I think guys named Andrew Wu.
Yep.
He trains her, Jessica Matias Reyes,
Yep.
and Ivy Evie Ray.
Yep.
And if you look at these women, even though two of them in the same division, one's in the, I know Jessica's competed in physique before. This is where I'm saying like it's just so much. Like this is I would pull some of these pictures. I do this every so often. Like I do the thing called comparison videos where I talk about, especially mostly in the divisions of women's classes. I don't do too much of wellness or bikini, but I do pull up pictures like I say like this. This is where I was talking with somebody like how you look at this one here. Uh, you got here Sarah Vilgas and Missy Trescott.
Yep.
Even though they're both on different divisions, you look at it, you wouldn't think like even look at Missy's shoulders. They
Right.
look like better. She's a little more fuller than compared to Sarah.
Yeah.
But Sarah has that conditioning. Sarah looks more
Yep.
like closer to maybe figure if you look from a distance that she is physique because
Right.
she has more that classic line, maybe like
But it's
back
that
in the day.
conditioning, like you said.
Hmm. And
Yep.
then if you look at now, if you look here, you have Margie Martin and Ashley Jones. Now
Yeah.
Ashley's going to switch over to bodybuilding, I believe, because she's been physique for a couple of years, but she was
Yeah.
figure before.
Yep.
Then you look at um most definitely Margie, she's a little big in the quads, but it's not much difference.
Yeah.
It's really, the lines, like I said, is starting to blur between the divisions.
I agree. I
And
agree.
maybe it's just this is where, as we talked about how you said the judges gave you criteria, their critique of you. Do you feel as they should have a set lines as compared to say, wait, I don't want to. I want to do physique, but I
Yeah.
still want to grow and develop in this division. In this
Yeah.
division, before I really go up.
You're gonna hate this answer. Yes and no.
That's not
Because
right. I hate you. I,
there can be criteria, but they still have to judge off of who shows up, and there still has to be a winner of the show, right? So they're going to. There's like from what I've learned over watching how they judge and whatnot, feedback from judges is they can only judge what shows up. So there's like different like priority levels of um what is given feedback, good feedback, and good reward to. You know what I mean? So like conditioning is always a winner. You know what I mean? If somebody comes in and they're not conditioned, but they have bigger size, most of the time people with conditioning is going to get it. Or posing, like somebody comes in with really good conditioning, but the person next to them has decent conditioning, but their posing's on point. That person might win. You know what I mean? So it really depends on who shows up and who's judging.
yeah. We hear man boy 2000. He says this. He says, very humble, lovely lady. You come across, appreciate your time on the
Thank
channel,
you.
Chelsea. Also, he says this. He says, Cindy Gillen may be the first ever woman in the figure division to break records. Wins of potentially being tied with Linda and Ronnie
Yep.
Coleman is groundbreaking. Yeah, she
Yep.
is. She's there. And he
Yep.
says this. He says, Natalia Quayle is the women's physique queen.
Yep.
Me personally, I'm more a fan of Brooke Walker. I mean,
I love Brooke Walker. I
yeah,
love her too. I love her. She's got my vote, man. I love Natalie Shape, but I love me some Brooke Walker.
yeah. I mean, yeah, she has that great. She's from Arkansas, which is still a little bit in the South. She has that great
Yep.
look to her. I mean, she kind of like reminds me maybe someone like I'm trying to think of maybe someone like she's in between um Corey Everson and a
Yeah.
bit of I would say trying to think of who like someone probably thinking your the shirts his wife Heather Ombers.
Oh,
Yeah, she's right in between. You see Heather now, even though she don't compete anymore, she looks like wow. She can come back if she wants. But I know she has issues with arthritis, and that's why she doesn't want to compete. But she is looking
yeah.
amazing. She grew. This thing is about people don't think that women like that can be beautiful, and and it's funny. Like I know you're on social media like I am because I'm usually on social media because I'm following stuff like that. Like when I do that quote, say I tell guys don't send D pics because you know what, guys out here are kind of weird. You know, and I know your husband sometimes he's like, "Hey, baby, let me check your phone. I gotta make a call." Say, What's this? What this?
Oh,
What
he
this
would
about hitting
laugh.
my wife? You know,
He would fucking laugh so hard.
it's just like I said. But like I said, people got to understand that this is you don't do this for anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
You do this because you have a passion for it. This was something that practically saved your life.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and I think people need to understand that part about what like society's not comfortable with the idea when women change the aspects of themselves. Women supposed to be this is how society looks at this. As a man, my purpose in life is to battle, breed, and die. That's it. For you women, you're there's nurturers. You bear our children. You take care of our homes. You do all this stuff. But then when you step in something that will like how why do my interview where I ask questions like why is sport of muscle masculinity? But that's how people see men with muscle. It's masculine for men to have muscle, because we have naturally testosterone. You women don't. You do have a very, 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 very smidge, just
Yeah.
enough because as you know, men and women are biologically have some similarities, but yet we're different. We're the same race, but we're different species. If you look at it like that,
Hmm.
we got here from a man. This is from a man. Warrior 2000. He's a big fan of yours now. Missy Stress is a little smaller now, more leaner, but the impressive muscular physique. Yeah. Also, he says this. He says, Jessica Padilla is becoming an immersed muscular specimen. Is absolutely remarkable.
Yep.
Also, he says this. He says, "I love Brooke Walker. She's my girl as well." Now, after your last show, this was after a question. What was that thing? Being battling food. The diction. They be calling you. They be calling your name sometimes. It's just sometimes it's just what just makes you stronger, makes you stranger. What was that thing you wanted the most? What's
Oh,
that?
donuts.
Oh yeah,
I want donuts so bad.
yeah.
I want
Donut.
fucking pastries.
I'm tell you, I'm a sweet tooth. I love donuts or cakes. My mom used to cook us cakes, in the holidays, make them, like Duck and Hines, but she cooked them herself, and yeah, it's just that's the one thing about it. Food is the thing. It can, like I said again, it can be both the weapon and the
Yep.
tool for a bodybuilder. You know, I know you say you froze that last donut you had. You ever eat it yet?
The what? The
You see that donut, the bacon one.
it's in my freezer right now for the day after the show.
Yeah, you just right. You just want. I know it's there. It's calling your name, ain't it? It's calling. It's
Nope, I don't
calling.
even think about it. I
It's
don't even
calling.
think about it.
It's
Not
calling.
till the day
It's calling.
after.
Come on, Chelsea. Put it in the mouth. I know. I'm just. It's like anarchy and chaos, Chelsea. I just. Those things I love. It completes me. He comes every once in a while. This is from a man. This is from your fan here, Mr. Warrior 2000. Brooke is number one, and Natalia is number two favorite. That's cool. Now, as a competitor, what would you like to see change in the sport? What would you, as yourself, as a competitor, what would you like to see change?
Sure. I can do this one last question, then I'm gonna have to run into my next appointment. But
Okay.
so I would like to see more money in the women's divisions. I think that that would be. I know men can make a really good living at this, and it just seems like they are trying to cut a lot of women out, or especially like women's bodybuilding and the bigger divisions. That's really saddening. Like I was really disappointed with Arnold when they cut all those divisions out of the Arnold. That really upset me, and I didn't understand. I was really looking up to Arnold. Like I was listening to all this stuff. I bought his book, and like as I was getting into my obsession with bodybuilding, and then that happened, and I just like I got a distaste for him,
Yeah,
honestly.
I like I said, I growing up as like anybody, I watched the movies. Carminator, Conan, it's not a tumor. And then doing the stuff people have known and who met, they tell me that he is a jerk, but it's mostly about money for him. Anything we pushed out women's bodybuilding, the Miss International, 10 years ago, and then he just pushed out physique and then put out figure, you
I
know.
know.
This is a quote from one of my favorite movies is Batman Begins when, Liam Neeson says Ra's al Ghul walks up to Bruce Wayne and says, or to take the enemy, you walk quietly behind him, stab him in the heart. And that's what he did. But, I understand people can say, well, no one want to see these women, no one wants to see that, but you never know who we want to see. People buy the tickets, I went to my first bodybuilding show. I went to see. I was there really to see the women, especially women's bodybuilding. I wasn't back then. I wasn't too big fan of physique, but now I've grown into this division. I really respect it. I even have done contact with women. I'm planning on doing an interview with a lady. I'm hoping tomorrow interview a lady who is a figure pro herself. You know, it's just you ladies. You put as much work and time into this sport. It costs you more. Counting your hair, your makeup,
Yeah.
everything else. Your posing suits cost you almost a month's
Thousands.
rent. I mean, depending. I mean, people need to say. I think I know you're not gonna get the same money as the men, but at least a little something like what Sarah's doing. Sarah Vickers did it. Put up like $20,000 in Pittsburgh, even though Natalia took that money, and then $15,000 at the Texas Pro. And then there was what Jake Woods, big fan of Jake Wood and Winning Strength. What they doing? Went over the Masters Olympia, $10,000. Yo, Jake, want that money? I want that gun. So every time I gotta say it when I say Jake. But folks, we're not gonna hold much too longer. We're gonna let this lady go. This is one more from man. Warrior 2000 says this. It says Krispy Kreme glazed donuts. Oh yeah, the closest Krispy Kreme is in Fayetteville. My brother used to live right there down from road for it. When that red light comes on, so they say, I'm going out. I say, you want anything? Now I say, he called me, said, hey, the red light's on the Krispy Kreme. Give me a couple of donuts.
Yep.
Yeah. But
I know.
listen, folks, this is a busy lady, and I do appreciate your time coming through here.
Thank you, George.
No, this is one of my quotes from my favorite movie. It's in the Batman Begins when Jim Gordon says to Batman, I forgot to thank you. And Batman turns around and says, you never have to. I love doing this and giving y'all ladies a voice because not a lot of people do this. Everybody's focused on the men. The men's always going to get more attention, but you ladies, you put just as much work in. Unless you're not bikini or wellness, they're not going to give you your attention, but you have a passion for this. One more from a man, 2000, who let him go. He says, Arnold Schwarzenegger made a huge mistake cutting out all these divisions, especially the women's from the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. I guess because of the money. Yeah, he kept the TNA divisions. That's it, and fitness. That's all he kept. The ones that as there's a thing called, I call it like the there's certain sites we call the beating the meat websites. Excuse my language. There's the women's that they want to see, but hey.
Yeah.
Hey, we love you ladies too. We love you buff, muscle ladies. You're on stage, you're oiled up. We get a little tickle, a little pickle, get a little excited. And like I said, there's an old saying, like I say, I heard it, somebody told me years ago, well, you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard. So folks, we'd like to thank the lovely Mrs. Chelsea Secord for coming through. We hope and wish your best. We hope you just get a pro card. When you come back here, you want to come back here and just shoot the shit with us again.
That's right.
As a new Ivy Pro, you are a welcome guest.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Don't call me sir. I'm not. I know I'm about the age. I know I got a little gray hair. I mean, when I get supposed to, yeah. But I appreciate you and thank you, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, folks, I'd like to thank my man Warrior 2000 coming through. I'd like to thank everybody else coming through. Appreciate your time. We appreciate the lovely Miss Secord. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us, follow her. So search me stuff is in the description. You want to follow, but guys, you know my rules. No D56 freak. Stop it. Get some help. Come on. Yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you again, Chelsea. Have a good rest of your week, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, this man always George Page, aka the Emperor. Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a good rest of your week, folks.